Okay, it's 10 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Nora, thanks for joining us today. And we're going to talk about some of the resources from the library for helping you kickstart your search for a job. Very difficult, can be very difficult at this time, but we have resources to help you. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're just going to look. Oh, this is what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to talk about a resource called Tutor.com. And even though a lot of people think of this resource as primarily for students, it does have a component, significant component for those who are looking for career help. Specifically, you can get feedback on your resume and cover letter. And just like you would meet with a tutor for a class, you can meet with, I guess, in a sense, a career counselor, someone who can give you some feedback and some one-on-one in a virtual environment. So there's really two different types of resources we're talking about. One is that help with your resume, your cover letter, interviewing skills, that kind of vocational information. And the other types of resources that we're going to talk about are resources that help you improve your skills. So I'm thinking about applying for this job, but it says I need to know Excel, and I don't know Excel. So there's a resource called lynda.com. And right now we're in a very interesting transitional phase with this database because it will be changing its name to LinkedIn Learning. So some of what we have says LinkedIn Learning, and some things you see say lynda.com. It will be switched over entirely to LinkedIn Learning later this month. So that's why I have both there. So there are a lot of different resources, kind of mini video courses you can take in Lynda/LinkedIn Learning. And then New York State, the Department of Labor launched a partnership with something called Coursera, which is similar to LinkedIn Learning, but it's kind of more of an academic / vocational take, whereas LinkedIn Learning focuses more on technology, but also some soft skills in video courses. And then there are a few additional databases and websites on the New City Library database page, which I'll show you how to get into. And specifically under the business tab there are several additional resources. So Tutor.com. Now the first thing that I want to emphasize, you see the web address up there, Tutor.com/New City Library. If you want to use this resource, you need to go through that URL, Tutor.com//New City Library. If you attempt to go into the resource from just plain Tutor.com, it's also a paid resource for individuals. You'll get locked behind that paywall where it looks like you have to pay for it. And this is available to New City and West Nyack Library card holders. So let me just X out of that, and actually what I'm going to do is I will go back to the New City Library website, newcitylibrary.org, and show you how I would get in through the website. Under eLibrary, if I go to Databases and Research, there's a link over here to Tutor.com. Now, if I click on that link, let's see, I was just in this resource, so it's sending me right through here. But from home, if you're clicking on that, tutor.com/New City Library, it'll ask you to put in your library barcode number. And then you will come to this site here. I wonder if I can replicate it if I type it in, or it just is sending me through, probably because I had logged in earlier today. Now, there are a lot of resources here that you can use without logging in. And when I say logging in, I mean creating an account. But if you create an account, it will give you kind of the additional resources. So I'm going to sign in here. First time using it, you would want to create an account. It's just like everything else. It has an email address and a password. Now, the live help would be connecting with the tutor now. Now, unfortunately, at this point, we can't replicate that because the tutoring takes place starting at 3 o'clock. So 3 to 10. So unfortunately, we can't replicate it, but we can take a tour. Basically, you can connect with the tutor. And when you go to connect with the tutor, it will ask you essentially what your course is or what you're studying. And one of the options is career help. The other thing you can do is you can submit a paper for review. Now this you could do at any point. And when you hit submit a paper for review, actually the default here is job help and resume and cover letter drop off for review. So actually when it says submit a paper, you could also submit your cover letter and your resume. So what you would do is simply choose adult, unless you're, kids could also submit that as well, as long as they have their working papers. And you could submit a resume, tell them, you're a career changer or, other. Then you can copy and paste in the job you're applying for. So the person on the other end kind of has a sense of what it is you're applying for. And then you can choose a file, i.e. your resume, to upload and submit for review. And I tried this out last night with my resume and then with my wife's resume. Not that I'm looking for a job, I'm happily employed here, but I just wanted to see how it worked. They say they'll get back to you within 12 hours, and I'll tell you that they got back to me within a few hours. It didn't take very long. Now, when you upload a file, you have to upload a doc. So in other words, a Microsoft doc or a text document. So that's one thing. I tried to upload a PDF and I realized I had to have it in a doc format. So that's one thing to know. Now, once you submit that, you'll get an email when it's available to review. And if you log back in and go to your account under your sessions, my sessions, you'll see here, these are the people that reviewed my, one reviewed my resume and one reviewed my wife's. If you like the feedback, you can add that person to a favorite. So if you wanted more feedback, let's say on a cover letter, you could, or you wanted career advice, you could connect with them that way, and then they'll be listed under your favorite tutors. But if you look at the review document, let's look at this one, I think is my wife's. So they're giving feedback about, I took away my address and all the contact info because I thought, oh, that's a little creepy. I don't know if I want to put that out there. So I just took that away, and she's suggesting, well, you might, when you add that in, you want to center your name. You want numerals over 9. You can just use the number. She's giving, additional link about how to do your resume. Help with details, adding more details, suggesting to add bullets. So you get some real practical advice. Now on my resume, it's interesting. I got feedback, because I just uploaded an old resume. Like I said, I'm not really looking for a job right now. I have a job, so not that you shouldn't always have your resume up to date. But the feedback I got was, these jobs you're listing here are over 10 years ago. So, you have too much. Your resume is too big. You need to keep it to 2 pages, etc. So that is, if we want to look at that, keep the length to 2 pages. Here, you can add the position you're applying for. Please include jobs in the last 7 to 10 years, etc. So it's nice to get some individualized feedback. Again, they get back to you. I submitted this stuff last night around, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I had it. It was before 6, and I had both of them before the end of the night. I had one of them, the first one definitely before the end of the night. The other one was either early this morning. When I came in, I looked at it. And then when I logged in, actually, there was a big green section right across the top that said, go to my sessions to see your feedback. So that is where you get that information. And then your favorite tutors, it will tell you the people that you've used as a tutor the next time they might be available. So that could be helpful. Also, you have a locker, My Locker. If there are files, like cover letters or whatever, this is a PDF. So I said that didn't work with submitting the paper. But when you get individualized help as far as papers or career advice, you having these things in your locker could help. So that is Tutor.com. It's really a tremendous resource, only available to New City and West Nyack patrons. That is something that is funded locally with your tax dollars. If you had any questions, you could put them in the Q&A or in the chat, and we'll take a look at that, Nora. The next, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this link here, and I will post the link to this presentation in the chat. So if you want to look at that, you should be able to get that from the chat. If not, I can email you afterwards. Just let me know. The next resource is LinkedIn Learning, or Lynda. Again, as I mentioned, we're kind of in a transitional period with that. Again, on this database page, which is under eLibrary on newcitylibrary.org, there's a link right up front to LinkedIn Learning. And in LinkedIn Learning, they'll ask you to put your library card and then your PIN number. Your PIN number should be the last 4 digits of your phone number. If for some reason you find that PIN number is not working, you can always call us at extension 125. You could call me, extension 127, and we can work that out and figure out what your PIN number is. And this is one of those resources which is, like I mentioned, you can really build your toolbox of skills here. If you're applying for a job and you need to know a certain software, chances are they have it in lynda.com or LinkedIn Learning. You see here's the message. It's going to be upgraded to LinkedIn Learning. And another thing about this resource is you can get certificates. So courses that you've completed, you can get a certificate. So here is a course I completed on learning Zoom. I can view that certificate. It says when it was completed and how much time it took. And I would, if I were you, I would save these in your, somewhere on your own computer or in your email account so that you can review it. You can see a history of courses that you looked at, and you can bookmark courses as well. More messages here about the changeover to LinkedIn Learning. Now you can see courses that are popular so other patrons at New City Library are taking these courses. You can see what's newest. So this course was just uploaded yesterday. This one was loaded 3 days ago, 6 days ago. So information is constantly being updated here. Now, someone came into the library last night and said, what do you have that's new as far as electronic resources? I said, well, we've had these resources, but they're constantly being updated. There's constantly new information being added in there. Also here under the library, you can look by topic. So a lot of this is highly technical stuff, software, but they also have business skills, management, communication, so your soft skills, as well as marketing. Again, a lot of it is highly technical, but that's kind of the world that we live in. And there is, communicating with empathy is certainly a soft skill. So we have those as well. Now, if you see something you like, you can add it to a playlist. So you can make playlists, in other words, courses that are all around a certain topic. So that is LinkedIn Learning. I don't know if you have questions, Nora, out there. You can certainly add them in the chat if you do. But I think this is really a tremendous resource. Again, this is just for New City patrons, right, Nancy?
New City, yes. Nanuet also has it.
Oh, Nanuet Library has recently added it.
Yeah.
So we had to, we actually subscribed to this, then we canceled it because it didn't get much use, but then early in the pandemic, we re-upped. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and also the privacy issue was resolved.
Oh, right. There was an issue with privacy that we weren't happy with, and
right.
It kind of resolved it. So It's nice that you have those certificates there. You can kind of collect them and build your resume out with this resource.
Oh, how to use LinkedIn Learning.
So that's LinkedIn Learning. Coursera from New York State. Now, this is not a library specific resource. In fact, I don't even think we have a link on our database page, although we probably should.
Oh, I have to check.
Put a link up there, but this is something that was just kind of came out in the last month or so. New York State announced a partnership with Coursera, which is one of these online learning sites. And as a resident of New York State, if you go to the Department of Labor website, what you have to do is you have to register and sign up with them. Then they'll activate your account and send you a login. And then you'll have access to this online learning site. Now, I haven't taken any courses with them, but you can browse their catalog here. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is there are a lot of vocational type things in terms of career planning, resume, CV, cover letter, interview, utilizing LinkedIn for career searches, job success, get hired or promoted in 3 steps. So you have these different things. It gives you, again, you're going to get a certificate, so something else to add to your resume. And this really is going to give you some practical advice about how to do that resume, cover letter, etc. But there are also courses just like LinkedIn, Linda on Excel, and others. I would say that, and a lot of these are through different universities. So it's kind of more of an academic feel, whereas Linda is kind of like do it on your own time. But some of the courses here are kind of like do it on your own time courses, and some of them have more of a feel like you're in an academic setting. So it's just a mix of both of those. And they also have these kind of guided projects where they'll work you through a project to help you learn a skill. So this is another resource that is helping you add to your skill set to be a more attractive candidate. So that's Coursera. And then there are a number of other resources through the library database page, which I'm just going to go back to newcitylibrary.org to emphasize how to get into these resources. Under eLibrary, databases and research, we see our LinkedIn Learning, we see our Tutor.com. Under business here, there are a number of other additional resources. Now, one of those, which is very much integrated into career resources, job resources, is called Job Now. And Job Now is made possible through the Ramapo Catskill Library System, which is kind of a complicated way to say that this is state money, whereas LinkedIn Learning, the first two we showed you, LinkedIn Learning, Linda, and Tutor.com is local money. So, i.e., New City Library is paying for it. And the reason why I didn't emphasize Job Now up front, because actually it's very much a great career related resource for you, is that I've heard a rumor that perhaps there may not be as much state money for this resource. So I didn't want to heavily rely on this and then have you be upset and find out next week the library no longer has this resource. That being said, it's available to you now. and if you need this type of help, it's here and available for you now. So a lot of the same stuff through Tutor.com, where I mentioned that you could have that live interview or live help is available, but they also have templates, interview tips, live job coach, and their hours, I think it's 3 to 10 on Tutor. This is 2 to 11. So again, you would have to take care of this later in the day. This is again, if you create an account, if you log in or sign up, you'll have access to this additional information, because there has to be a way for them to contact and follow up with you. But you'll see there are resume templates here, interview tips, even help with unemployment, career assessments, job resources. So there's a lot of resources here at Job Now. Again, I just didn't want to heavily rely on this for the whole webinar, because there is some question about state money, and in the difficult times we're at, there's no telling when some of these resources may or may not still be available. That being said, worst case scenario, if we lose access to this, we still will have Tutor.com for you, and there's no plans to get rid of that. But in the past, we would have adults meet with career coaches here in the library. Now we still have that, but it's simply online. So just another thing to look out for you. So that's Job Now. Another resource is Glassdoor. Now, Nancy, is this a free resource or something? It says made possible through Ramapo Catskill. Do you know, Nancy?
Yeah, I don't know. I assume that they paid for it, but
Glassdoor. The thing that is unique about Glassdoor,
I like
we'll
it.
go in there, is that you can look up a company and you can get reviews from employees
Yeah.
that kind of tell you a little bit about what it's like. Again, just like all these other resources, there's an opportunity to sign in. And if you sign in, you can follow a company, you can get updates when jobs are posted, but you can get a little idea about the culture of working at a place, the benefits. It was listed 2021, number 39 on best places to work. This is an employee story. reviews here. I guess it's fine.
That's a little tepid.
So you can see it's actually a real review because it's nothing. Treats women fairly, pays well, growth opportunities. So that I think that's really a unique aspect is the reviews of the companies in here.
Yeah.
And you know they have they had listed Pfizer here as like number 39 overall. Yeah, they have articles here. I like the best jobs for 2021. You know, I always think about this with my kids, you know. What should you do? So they have all these jobs. It tells you approximately, you know, it tells you what the median salary is, the number of job openings, job satisfaction, which is certainly important. So in the old days, we'd look at something called Occupational Outlook Handbook, which is probably still put out by the Department of Labor, and you can read it online if you want to look at it. But I think Glassdoor is kind of more of a modern look for this sort of thing with jobs. This is really a ton of information here on Glassdoor. Again, if you sign in and create an account, you can get alerts when jobs are posted and that sort of thing as well. What else do we have?
Reference USA.
Oh, did you want to mention that, Nancy?
Yeah, because that does have a job search function on it.
Okay. Do we need to mention that you have to use a certain browser?
Yes, you do. You can't use Chrome because you'll get sent to this weird page which will not let you get in.
I'm in Chrome.
It won't let. Oh, how did you
This
get in?
2.5 million job postings?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it works.
It cut you right in.
Can I just type in a zip code and get jobs?
Oh,
here's general job. Again, they have this general job help. This is what's called Data Axle Reference Solutions, which is simply, it used to be called Ref USA, but it's this reference solutions here. And we've had a little bit of problem with this database as far as Nancy is mentioning access on Chrome, but it looks like maybe they cleared that up.
Well, I tried to get on Chrome today and it wouldn't let me. So maybe because you're in the library, it's...
Oh, remote access via Chrome might be the problem. Oh, this is interesting. 10956.
Yeah.
And it says this is just powered by Indeed, though.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting.
Well,
job listing here, but there's also something else I should look at, Nancy?
Oh, no, I was just going to say a lot of times people will come in here and even if they're looking for a job at ShopRite, they have to do it online, which makes it a little difficult. But I think on here, some of the companies will let you apply right online, so you don't have to go looking for the site.
Oh, they'll link you directly to the site to do it.
Right. I was looking up Cook in 10956, and the first thing that came up was Shake Shack, which just opened.
Oh, so right, apply on company
site. So it takes you right there. You can just do it without the account.
Oh,
Just
okay.
apply. And then apply now, and
Well, see you later, Nancy. It was nice working with you. Just kidding.
Go for you.
So there you go. Now I should point out that that's Data Axle. There's much more on there. We're not going to go into every detail. We have a feed here right on this business part of the database page. And this is jobs within a 15-mile radius of 10956. And if you scroll down to the bottom, this is just linking you to Indeed.com. And it's the same sort of thing. You can sign in, create an account. You can have an alert set up every time a job with a certain keyword or in a certain location becomes available. You get an email, and that's. But it looks like Data Axle was pulling their feed directly from Indeed as well. So there's a couple different places to get jobs. Is there anything else you think we should cover, Nancy?
No, I think that's it for job resources. A lot of the other things here are more for finance or investment. They're not necessarily for jobs. So.
I just wanted to, with this webinar, kind of give you a brief introduction to what some of these different resources are. I think the value with the live job help, whether you're using Job Now or Tutor.com, is tremendous, especially at a time when it's difficult to meet face-to-face. Doing it through the computer is the new way to do that. And I think lynda.com/LinkedIn Learning, as well as Coursera from the New York State Department of Labor, are great resources for expanding your skill set when you need to learn a new software or a new technology. And then you've got your Glassdoor because really, in a sense, you're interviewing a company as well when you apply for a job about whether or not it's a good place to work, and Glassdoor can really help you with that as well. So I hope this was helpful for you, Nora. Before we go, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. I did want to mention that we have some upcoming webinars that you can register for on the calendar. By March 3rd, we should be fully into LinkedIn Learning.
Yeah, we will be.
So we thought that at that point it would be good to see if there are any changes to the software. We could talk about that. We're going to get in more depth with Tutor.com in April. We'll talk specifically about that resource. And then in May, we're going to talk about ebooks. So those, I like to do these webinars once a month on Wednesdays. Generally, we do them in the morning at 10. Because that live help is only available in the afternoon, we're going to do the Tutor.com at 4 p.m. So thanks for coming. Nancy, thanks for tagging along and adding input.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.